Kevin Thompson, 14 years old, called his grandfather with trembling hands, clutching his smartphone. "Grandpa Leon, please don't come to the school. It'll only make things worse." But Leon, a 67-year-old retired cop, thought differently. Modern bullying needed old-school solutions. He called Danny, his partner of 30 years. Two retired police officers were getting ready to take on today's bullying. The kids thought they were old and helpless. They were wrong. If you stand against bullying, make sure to subscribe and comment where you're watching from. Kevin Thompson, 14 years old, tall but thin, was a very smart kid. He had just started at Roosevelt High School and had become a target from day one. Kevin loved reading books. He was trying to learn computer programming. He didn't like sports because his coordination wasn't great. And that made him a perfect target for bullies like Bradley Thompson. That Tuesday morning, Kevin's stomach hurt on his way to school, just like every morning. It had been like this for the past 2 months. His grandfather, Leon Williams, a 67-year-old retired cop, noticed Kevin was quiet during breakfast. "Kevin, is everything okay?" "Yes, Grandpa. Just a test today." Leon was suspicious. He knew Kevin very well. They had been living together since Kevin was 5. After his parents divorced and moved to different cities. "Which class is the test in, Kevin?" "Math." Leon knew Kevin's math grades were excellent. Why was he stressed? "All right, son, come straight home after school." Kevin left for school, but Leon felt uneasy. He had been a street cop for 25 years. He could tell when people were lying, and Kevin was lying. Kevin's heart started pounding as he arrived at school. Bradley Thompson and his gang were standing at the entrance. Bradley, 16 years old, tall and muscular. He did karate and thought he ruled the school. Beside him were two friends, Mark and Tyler. All three laughed the moment they saw Kevin. "Look who's here, the smart kid," Bradley said. Kevin lowered his head and tried to walk past quickly, but Bradley grabbed his arm. "Where are you rushing to? I wasn't done talking to you." "Bradley, please. I'm going to be late." "You're going to be late. That's your problem." Mark added, "Kevin, did you do the math homework yesterday?" Kevin knew where this was going. "Yes." "Great. I didn't. Mind sharing it with me, Mark? That would be cheating." Tyler laughed. "Cheating? You think we're cheaters?" Kevin was cornered. "No, Bradley got tougher. "Just what? You think you're better than us?" "No. Bradley, I just think everyone should do their own homework." Bradley smacked Kevin on the shoulder. "You're really smart, Kevin. But being smart isn't enough around here." Kevin flinched in pain. The spot Bradley hit was throbbing. Just like every other day for the past 2 months. For the last 2 months, Kevin had been living in hell. Every morning, Bradley and his gang stopped him at the school entrance, insulted him, sometimes pushed or hurt him slightly. Lunch break wasn't any better. While Kevin sat alone in the cafeteria, Bradley would show up and take his food under the excuse of sharing. "Kevin, you're already skinny. I need this burger more than you." Kevin's protests were useless. He was afraid to tell the teachers because Bradley had warned him that things would get worse if he snitched. Worst of all was social media. Bradley would take embarrassing photos of Kevin and post them on purpose. Other kids laughed, mocked him, and excluded him. Kevin's only safe space was home. The small but warm house he shared with his grandfather Leon Williams, 67 years old, was a strong-built black man. He had served as a street cop in the Detroit Police Department for 25 years. He had worked in tough neighborhoods and dealt with all kinds of bullies and criminals. After retiring in 2012, he took on the responsibility of raising Kevin, his divorced son's child. Kevin was only 5 when his parents split and moved to different cities. Leon had taken on the role of both grandfather and father for 9 years. Everything had been great. Kevin was smart, kind, and curious. Leon was proud, but something had changed in the past 2 months. Kevin wasn't cheerful anymore. He wasn't eating. He had nightmares, and he was constantly sick, not wanting to go to school every morning. Leon's experienced cop instincts kicked in. Kevin was in trouble, but he wasn't saying it that evening. When Kevin came home from school, Leon watched him closely. "How was school, Kevin?" "Good, Grandpa." "How did your math test go?" Kevin paused. "What test?" Leon smiled. "You said there was a math test this morning." Kevin realized he was caught. "All right, it went well." "Kevin, look at me." Kevin looked up. His eyes were full of tears. "Son, is there something you want to talk to me about?" Kevin was about to cry, but he was scared. Bradley's threats echoed in his mind. "No, Grandpa, everything's fine." Leon liked Kevin, but he was worried. This kid was hiding something. The next day, Leon made a decision. While dropping Kevin off at school, he would wait around and watch. He got a coffee across from the school and observed Kevin as Kevin approached the school entrance. 3 bigger kids walked up to him. Leon's police-trained eyes immediately knew what was happening. Bullying. Leon's blood ran cold. His grandson had been bullied for 2 months and hadn't told him. Bradley hit Kevin hard on the arm. Kevin winced in pain. Mark grabbed his backpack and rummaged through it. Tyler made sure no one was watching. Leon had been a street cop for 25 years. He knew when to intervene and when to wait. This was not the time to wait. Leon got out of his car and started walking toward the school. But just as he was about to step in, Kevin did something with his phone. He made a call. Leon's phone rang. "Grandpa Leon, please don't come to the school. It'll just make things worse." Leon stopped. Kevin had seen him and was trying to stop him. "Kevin, what are those kids doing to you?" "Grandpa, please. I'm trying to handle it." "Kevin, come home. Now." "Grandpa, I'm late for class. We'll talk later." Kevin hung up and ran into the school. Leon was left standing. He had been a cop for 25 years, but had never felt so helpless. His grandson was suffering and wouldn't accept his help. But Leon Williams wouldn't give up. That evening, Leon waited at home for Kevin. When Kevin arrived, they sat down. "Kevin, we need to talk about what I saw this morning." Kevin's face turned pale. "What did you see, Grandpa? What those 3 kids did to you? And why didn't you tell me?" Kevin began to cry. All the pain, fear, and shame he had been bottling up for 2 months poured out at once. "Grandpa, I can handle it. If you get involved, it'll just get worse." "Kevin, how exactly are those kids bullying you?" Kevin told him everything. Bradley's physical attacks, Mark's humiliation on social media, Tyler's isolation tactics. Leon's anger grew as he listened, but at the same time, he tried to understand Kevin's logic. "Kevin, you're my grandson, and I'm going to protect you. But Grandpa, you don't understand. This isn't the 1990s. Now there's social media, peer pressure. If you interfere, it'll all come down on me." Leon thought Kevin was right. The culture of bullying had changed, but the core of it remained the same. "Kevin, bullying is always the same, only the tools change." Kevin was surprised. How did his grandpa know so much about modern issues? "Grandpa, but you're old." Leon smiled. "Kevin, I'm old, but I'm not dumb. And I was a cop for 25 years. I've dealt with all kinds of bullies. So what are we going to do? First, I'm going to call Uncle Danny." Kevin was surprised. Danny Miller was his grandpa's partner of 30 years, a retired cop. But Kevin didn't see the connection. "What does Uncle Danny have to do with this?" Leon pulled out his cell phone. "Kevin, Danny has a granddaughter, Emma. She's your age. And 2 years ago, she was bullied too." Leon called Danny. He picked up on the first ring. "Leon, we haven't talked in a while. How are you?" "Danny, I've got an emergency. Kevin is being bullied." Danny's tone changed. "How long has this been going on?" 2 months. "I saw it today. 3 kids, round 16 years old." "Leon, do you remember Emma? She went through the same thing 2 years ago." "Yes. And what did you do back then? You know me." "Leon, old school." Leon smiled. He had known Danny for 30 years. They both knew modern problems could be solved with old solutions. "Danny, can you come with me to the school tomorrow?" "Leon, don't forget I'm like an uncle to Kevin." "Of course I'll come." Kevin was listening to the conversation. "Grandpa, if you guys show up at school, it'll only make things worse." After Leon hung up, he looked at Kevin. "Kevin, look at me. I'm your grandfather. Danny is your uncle. We worked the toughest neighborhoods in Detroit for 30 years. You're our grandson. No one will dare touch you." "But Grandpa..." "Kevin, trust me, we're going to the school tomorrow. But not the way you think." "What do you mean?" Leon smiled. "Modern problems need modern solutions, right? Fine. I'll show you a modern solution." Kevin didn't fully understand, but he saw the determination in his grandfather's eyes. The resolve of a man who had been a police officer for 25 years. And for the first time in 2 months, he felt hopeful. The next morning, Danny was having breakfast at Leon's house. To retired cops, planning an operation for the first time in 30 years. Danny Miller, 65 years old, medium height, gray-haired white man. He had served 28 years in the Detroit Police Department's gang unit. He had been Leon's partner from 1985 to 2015. Leon, do you remember when Emma went through a bullying situation? Yes. Danny, how did you handle it back then? Not with direct confrontation. I used a smart approach. Kevin was listening. Uncle Danny, what did you do? Danny smiled. Kevin, a bully's biggest weapon is fear. The image that they're scary. We shattered that image. How? Leon answered Kevin. Most bullies project their own fears onto others. Bradley looks tough, but he's probably hiding his own insecurities. Danny nodded in agreement. Exactly. Emma's bully was the same way. Once we got close, we realized the kid had problems at home. Kevin was surprised. So Bradley might have problems too, Kevin, Leon said. We're not just going to help you. We're going to help Bradley too. Kevin didn't understand. But he's bullying me. Danny explained, Kevin, real police work isn't just about catching bad guys. It's about understanding why they became bad and helping them change. Leon added, we're going to the school, but we're not going to make a scene. We'll talk to Bradley and his family. But will they even listen to you? The two retired cops looked at each other. 30 years of experience between them. Kevin. Danny smiled. Once a cop, always a cop. Leon and Danny went to school during lunch break, but not as aggressively as Kevin had expected. They met with the vice principal, Mrs. Patterson. I'm Leon Williams, Kevin's grandfather. This is Danny Miller, my retired police friend. Mrs. Patterson was surprised. A retired cop. What brings you here? Leon calmly explained. Kevin has been bullied for 2 months. We want to intervene, but the right way. Bullying? Did Kevin tell you? Danny stepped in. Mrs. Patterson, Kevin didn't say. We observed it ourselves. Bradley Thompson and 2 of his friends are systematically targeting Kevin. Mrs. Patterson took notes. That's a serious allegation. What do you want to do? Leon replied. We want to talk to Bradley's family to make the solution sustainable. And what should we do as the school administration? Danny smiled. Mrs. Patterson, we don't want to punish the bullying. We want to solve it for both Kevin and Bradley. That evening, Leon and Danny went to Bradley's house. Mike Thompson, Bradley's father, was surprised when he opened the door. Who are you? I'm Leon Williams, Kevin's grandfather. This is Danny Miller. Both retired cops. We want to talk. Mike's face changed. Cops, what happened? Mr. Thompson, may we come in? We need to talk about Bradley and Kevin. Mike let them in. The house was big and tidy. But Leon's experienced eyes noticed some things. Empty beer bottles. Constant boxing matches on TV. Only masculine sports photos on the walls. Mr. Thompson. Leon began. Bradley is a strong and athletic kid. Yes, he does karate. Very successful. Danny added, that's great. But apparently, he's using that strength in the wrong places. Mike stiffened. What do you mean? Leon calmly explained. Bradley has been bullying Kevin systematically for 2 months. Physical violence, humiliation on social media, isolation. Mike laughed. Bradley is a strong kid. If Kevin is weak, it's a lesson for him. Danny and Leon exchanged looks. They saw the root of the problem. Mr. Thompson, Danny said, the only thing bullying teaches is that the strong can bully the weak. How is that preparing for life? The strong win. That's life's reality. Leon intervened. Mr. Thompson, I was a street cop for 25 years. Danny did gang operations for 28 years. Real strength is protecting the weak. Mike paused. Two retired cops were giving him a lesson. What do you want? Danny answered. For Bradley to stop bullying Kevin, and for both to become stronger. Ow! Leon smiled. Mr. Thompson, Bradley does karate, right? What's the first rule of karate? Mike thought. Use your strength only for defense. Exactly. Bradley has forgotten that rule. Let's remind him. Leon and Danny's plan was simple, but effective. Instead of punishing bullying, transform it. They talked to Bradley's karate instructor. The coach was unaware of Bradley's behavior and very upset. Bradley is very talented, but it seems there's a discipline problem. Leon suggested if Bradley learns to apply karate principles, he could become friends with Kevin. How? Danny explained. Bradley will teach Kevin karate. Kevin will teach Bradley math. The karate coach laughed. That's very clever. Bradley will be the mentor. Kevin will grow stronger. Leon added, and both will learn that true strength increases when it's shared. A week later, Kevin came to school with a different energy. Bradley saw him in the hallway and approached. Kevin tensed up. But Bradley was different. Kevin, I'm sorry. Kevin was surprised. What I did to you over the last 2 months was very wrong. Kevin didn't know what to say. Bradley continued. I talked with my karate coach. He also spoke with your grandpa and Uncle Danny. He taught me a lesson about the true meaning of karate. What is the true meaning of karate? That the strong protect the weak. That bullying the weak is not what it's about. Kevin was still amazed. Bradley, have you really changed? Bradley smiled. Kevin, I want to make you an offer. What offer? I'll teach you karate. You teach me math. We'll both become stronger. Kevin looked suspicious. But you know math. Actually, I don't. I was just copying your homework. That's unfair and stupid. For the first time in 2 months, Kevin smiled. Okay, Bradley, let's try it. That evening when Kevin got home, he was very different. Strong, happy, hopeful. Grandpa Leon, Uncle Danny, the two retired. Cops were sitting in the living room, waiting for Kevin. Kevin, how was your day? Leon asked. Kevin told them everything, Bradley's apology, the mentor offer, the math karate exchange. Danny smiled. Kevin, see, modern problems are solved with old school methods. How do you mean? Uncle Danny, Leon explained. Kevin, we've learned over 30 years. You can't beat violence with violence. You beat bullying with understanding. Kevin thought for a moment. So you didn't punish Bradley. You changed him. That's right, Kevin. Because anyone can change. Bradley isn't a bad kid. He just learned the wrong things. Danny added. Kevin, what will happen at school tomorrow? Bradley's going to show me karate basics. I'll explain math problems to him. Leon hugged Kevin. That's my grandson. Strong but kind. Smart but compassionate. Kevin smirked. Grandpa, you and Uncle Danny may be retired, but you're real cops. Danny laughed. Kevin, once a cop, always a cop, especially when it comes to family. 3 months later, Kevin had completely changed. He was no longer afraid to go to school. He had become friends with Bradley. Thanks to karate, he had even grown physically stronger. That Saturday morning, Kevin, Leon, and Danny were sitting in the park. Grandpa, I was wrong at first, Kevin said. About what, Kevin? I thought modern problems couldn't be solved with old methods. Leon smiled. Kevin, technology changes. Human nature does not. Bullying has always existed. And the solution is always the same: empathy, understanding, empowerment. Danny added. Kevin, did you learn something else? What, Uncle Danny? Being old doesn't mean being helpless. Being old means being experienced. Kevin thought for a moment. Uncle Danny, how is Emma now? Emma is very well. Actually, she's learning personal karate too. As she heard Bradley's story, she's very proud. Leon looked at Kevin. Kevin, what you experienced wasn't just bullying. What do you mean, Grandpa? It was part of growing up. You learned to be strong. Bradley learned empathy. You both became better people. Kevin smiled. Grandpa, thank you and Uncle Danny so much. Danny replied. Kevin, we're family. Family protects each other. Leon added. Kevin, there's one more thing you learned. What? Grandpa, there's no such thing as a retired cop. There are only cops in different fields. Kevin laughed. Grandpa, you're 67 years old but still very strong. Leon hugged Kevin. Kevin, strength doesn't come with age. It comes with experience. It comes with love. And it comes with family. 1 year later, Kevin was a senior in high school. Now 15 years old, physically stronger, but most importantly, confident. He had become best friends with Bradley. They both volunteered in the school's anti-bullying program. That day, the school had a family day. Kevin had invited Leon and Danny. Grandpa, Uncle Danny. Come on, I want to introduce you to my friends. Leon and Danny went to the school. Kevin proudly introduced them to his friends. This is my grandpa, Leon. He's a retired cop. And this is Uncle Danny. He's a retired cop too. And both of them are my heroes. Bradley came over and hugged Leon and Danny. Mr. Leon, Mr. Danny, thank you so much. You changed my life. Leon smiled. Bradley, you changed your own life. We just showed you the right direction. Danny added. Bradley, how's karate going now? Very well. Kevin has improved a lot too. Now he can defend himself. Kevin laughed. Uncle Danny, no one dares to bully me anymore. Why, Kevin? Because everyone knows I've got people behind me. Leon hugged Kevin. Kevin, those behind you will always be there. That evening on the way home, Three generations were sitting in the car. 67-year-old Leon, 65-year-old Danny, and 15-year-old Kevin. Grandpa Kevin said, "Can I ask you a question?" "Of course, Kevin. You and Uncle Danny retired. But why do you still act like cops?" Leon thought for a moment. Kevin, being a cop is not just a job. It's a way of life. Once you learn to protect people, you can't stop. Danny added, "Kevin, we retired, but we didn't retire from justice." "What does retiring from justice mean?" Leon answered, "Kevin, justice doesn't take age into account. You're responsible for justice at 15, and I'm at 67. Kevin nodded. "I understand. So everyone, no matter their age, should do what's right." "Exactly, Kevin." Danny smiled. "Kevin, do you want to be a cop one day?" Kevin thought. "I don't know, Uncle Danny, but I want to do what's right." Leon touched Kevin's shoulder. "Kevin, even if you don't become a cop, keep doing what's right. That's what the world needs, okay, Grandpa? And I also learned age is just a number. What matters is character." Danny agreed. "That's right, Kevin. And you have a very strong character." That evening, as the sun was setting, the three friends were sitting at home chatting. 67-year-old Grandpa Leon, 65-year-old Uncle Danny, and 15-year-old grandson Kevin. Three different generations, but the same values: justice, courage, family. And Kevin now knew modern bullying could be solved with ancient wisdom. Technology changes, but humanity does not. Most importantly, he was never alone. Behind him were two retired cops, but not just retired cops, to grandpas, to mentors, to protectors, because true strength does not diminish with age. It grows with love. What do you think is the most important lesson to be learned from Kevin's story? Write your comments below if you want to see more powerful and inspiring stories like this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.